Welcome to the Living Oneness Gathering. We've made some changes, or I've made some changes. I've been guided to make some changes. So, those of you that are coming and expecting the live healing experience, that is what we're doing. However, it's shifted, and the live healing experience that I was doing monthly is now part of the Living Oneness Gathering. So, I was really guided to simplify my offerings and make it a little bit more clear and succinct. So the live healing experience that I normally offer once a month is now part of the Living Oneness Gathering. It is still on the first Wednesday of every month at 10 a.m. And then every other Wednesday is the Living Oneness Gathering. So actually, every week you can come and have a live healing experience. Everything I do is a live experiential process. So I invite all of you that maybe we're just participating once a month to maybe join every week and consider this perhaps an appointment with your divine self, an appointment with your heart and your self-care and your soul care. There's so much going on in the world today, and it will continue to be a wild ride for a while until it's not, until we make a full shift and a full alignment with the new earth energies and the new earth frequencies. Those things that are lower vibration are still in our peripheral vision. So we're still seeing those things, we're still witnessing those things. To some degree, I'm seeing less and less. I'm not really getting a lot, but I'm not looking either. So don't go looking. Don't go looking for evidence of the old earth frequencies because you'll find them. You'll still find them. And when you go looking for them, you're actually lowering your vibration to meet them and to see them. So it actually will drag you down a little bit, pull you back a little bit, and it's not going to feel comfortable. Once you've raised your vibrational frequency, so your frequency is a rate of vibration of energy. And if you imagine energy vibrating, say it's just moving back and forth at an easy pace, and it's measured in hertz, and that's cycles per second. So 1 hertz is 1 cycle per second. 10 hertz is 10 cycles per second. And we're shifting into like the thousands. So imagine 1,000 cycles per second. So that means that that movement of the energy is back and forth 1,000 times in 1 second if we're measuring in time. So when you engage or look at lower frequency situations, experiences in the world, it pulls on your system, but it creates a feeling of contrast and conflict. It creates discordant energy in and around your field, and it becomes really uncomfortable. That's the good news, is because of the discomfort, it kind of forces us to stay in alignment. It forces us to stay in the higher frequency energies. And we become less tolerant for the lower frequency energies. That's a good thing. That's actually a beautiful design because it allows us to really stay accountable and stay in making those choices to stay in alignment. When we have, so I'm just going to look at a question. So does this play out in negative ideas in the mind? Yes. If you're in the left brain loop and you have a negative thought pattern that's playing out like an old record, you don't have to go and listen to that old record. You can leave and or turn it off. A lot of times we can actually delete it now easier than before. But old thoughts, beliefs, fear-based beliefs, fear-based programming are all based on lower frequency energies. And when we meet those energies and challenge that thought, then you can shift it. Sometimes you can even just stir that thought into your heart space. It's becoming that easy. There's times where we need to process some of those older wounds or programming and change those beliefs with a little bit more structure or support. But more often than not, we can actually really heal quickly efficiently and at an accelerated rate. What maybe used to take 10 therapy sessions, you can do in 10 seconds on your own. That's where we're at. That's where we're heading, and that's where we're at. It's going to become much more accelerated and much more efficient in our ability to heal ourselves. There will be times where we need support. There will be times where we reach out, but that will be guided. That will be clear. You'll know that there's support needed in some ways. But imagine having a thought, an old thought that runs like an old tape in the background. Maybe it's a thought of like, I don't deserve abundance, or I'm unworthy. And you don't believe that thought anymore, but it's still playing there. It's like an annoying scratch or an annoying record playing in the background. The choice is in that moment, can I bring that thought into my heart space and recognize that it's not true? Recognize and choose a different truth, a different belief. Yes, you can. You can do that. You can do that with any thought. You can do that with any emotion, even. You can bring the emotion into the heart to witness it, to honor, to process it. Any discordant energy that's in your field can be met with harmonized energy. I'll say this differently. Any fear that you're feeling can be met with love. That's a higher frequency emotion. And it's not that fear is bad, it's just it is what it is. It's just a different energy. It's at a different frequency. It has a different speed. So it's at a different vibration. It's not good or bad. It just is. Don't judge it, but meet it with compassion. Meet it with love. Meet it with acceptance. Acceptance is even better than meeting it with judgment. And the mind, the way we've been programmed is like, that's too easy. Got to be more complicated, more hard. And the ego loves to make everything complicated. So, of course, if the ego is still in play, then it's going to make it, he's going to convince you, the ego is going to convince you that you have to do 10 years of counseling or 10 years of deep contemplative work in order to get beyond a childhood trauma or a belief. And I'm not saying we don't have to do some work. We don't have to do as much work as we used to because we're not living in the density and contained in the density of the three-dimensional world anymore. We are accessing, whether you realize it or not, you're accessing the fourth and fifth dimension, and some of us more. But in the fourth dimension, there's a lot of tapping into the collective consciousness. So some of the thoughts you're hearing and some of the feelings you're feeling are actually part of collective consciousness because we're accessing the fourth dimension. And then when you shift into the fifth dimension, the mind kind of has to be let go altogether because it's just not going to be able to comprehend or understand what's happening. So there's a letting go at the level of the mind and a leaning in and trusting at the level of the heart. We're shifting out of head consciousness into heart consciousness. And we need to because the head consciousness is limited. It's based on programming that's old and outdated. It's based on programming that is lower frequency and based on a limited perspective of what's possible and even what's impossible. The mind thinking something's impossible makes it impossible for that moment. Is that complicating it more? Is that simplifying it for you? Yeah. So the easiest, simplest way for me to say, everyone asks me, well, what do I do in this situation? How do I deal with that? And I'm like, follow your heart, follow your heart, follow your heart, trust your intuition. Your intuition is like a guide for you. It your heart knows exactly what you need because it's your divine self in there, out there, in there, both, guiding, leading you in every moment. It's you leading you. It's God leading God. It's source leading source in an experience meeting itself and having an experience of itself. And that part of yourself is so concentrated and condensed into this ball of consciousness that thinks it's limited. So the other aspects of your consciousness are coming and meeting you saying, "Hey, wake up in there. Like, come on out. You're not stuck in this prison. You're the prisoner and you're the prison guard. You're the gate and the wall and the concrete. You're the prison. Your thoughts, your beliefs, that's the prison. But you have the key. You have the key to remove the shackles. You have the key to open the door. You have the key to walk out. You just don't realize it yet. Or part of you realizes it, and part of you is like, I don't know, I think we better stay in here. And then, of course, you've got the ego, which has kind of created its own separate consciousness. Now it's separated out from our personal consciousness, and it's like an entity in your field. But we don't question it because it's just ego. So we're just like, oh, it's just ego. No, no, no. It's actually a real strong form of internal interference now. And it's working against you big time because you realizing your full potential means that ego needs to be evicted or dissolved or both. And its need for survival is strong and it'll stop at nothing. And in some cases, when I've been working with people to remove the ego now, in some cases, it's like detrimental that it's removed because it's like about to take over. And not to scare you, just to really make you aware just how powerful the ego has become with some individuals. So ultimately, eventually, yes, it will be removed. Yes, it will be dissolved. Some of you will feel to do that sooner than later. You can reach out to me and book an ego removal session. There is work to do before you just go ahead and book. There's at least 5 to 7 days of work to do. However, we don't need a form of internal interference in our field working against us. For the longest time, the ego was about helping you stay safe and protected, and it was about preserving you. Now the ego is all about self-preservation. It's self, not you, it, at the expense of you. So the more you recognize these thoughts, these beliefs, these lower energies, these lower frequencies are not who I am. It's not the truth of who I am. The stronger you will become, the more empowered you will feel, the more equipped and capable you will become. And strengthening your energy and activating your source point from your heart space and emanating that energy out in all directions will keep your field clear. So that you don't have external interference. You don't have other interferences coming at you. You won't be so affected by the energies around you. You won't be so impacted by the discordant energy or the lower frequency energies that are around you because you'll be standing so solidly in the energy of who you are, the truth of who you are, not who you think you are. Because you are not just this human being, you are a divine being animating this humanness, animating this human body. And when you recognize that, and when you feel that and experience that, and that's all about what I'm wanting to create over and over and over again each week in different ways and different pathways and similar pathways, and I overlap certain lessons in certain ways. And the reason I do that is because at one point you're gonna break, you're gonna have a break in that limited consciousness, and you're gonna have a taste and experience of the truth. And some of you are getting that each week as seeds, like practice, like it's a practice that becomes suddenly, it just like clicks, it all clicks. And when it all clicks, you become unstoppable, untouchable. Nothing can waver your faith, your knowing. That divine knowing becomes so solid in you that you just meet life and you witness all this human life classroom going on around you, and you're not rattled by it. You're not shaken by it. You feel centered and clear and steady. And if anybody's interested in that, then you're in the right place. If you're not, that's okay. Bless you, and off you go. And then maybe there's some other place for you. That's okay. I'm going to be cleaning out my list when I'm blending everything, kind of bringing the living oneness and the live healing experience together with the living oneness gathering. That blend together is going to simplify things. So I'm going to be cleaning out my email list. And those that haven't opened the list in a long time or aren't engaged or just aren't meant to be on my list anymore, then let's just free your energy. There's no sense in having that energy cord there, because people can always come back later if they feel guided to. But so those of you that are here obviously are engaged or interested or are signed up or wanting to experience the truth of who they are and know why you're here. Not why in the level of form, like the 3D form, like on a material level. Why am I here? That's what everybody's looking for purpose there. I'm like, it's so much bigger than that. The feeling of being on purpose isn't one thing you're doing or two things you're doing, or it's not your career or your work. Me feeling on purpose is not my business, heart-led living. It's bigger than that. It's deeper than that. That's how it shows up on the level of form, as books, as podcasts, that sort of thing. But everything evolves around it. It's a feeling, it's a knowing. And that's why you're all here, to have your experience, the experience you need to find the answers to the questions you have. So each week, the Living Oneness experience will be ongoing every Wednesday at 10 for now, unless guided otherwise. And the first Wednesday of the month, I'll be doing a Q&A and some intuitive readings. First, before I do that, I just want to take you through a little centering exercise, a little centering practice. So I invite you, if you're able to, close your eyes. Take some deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And I want to invite you to shift your awareness, that spotlight of awareness. Bring the concentration of your attention and awareness into the heart space, right in the center of the chest. Now, this energy center is a powerful center to receive information, guidance, insight, energy. Energy comes in and then is translated. The pathway it takes to get to the heart, or the pathway it comes from the center of the heart space, is a little different for everyone. But ultimately, the heart center becomes our translation center. And then imagine bringing your awareness as well. So just widening the aperture of your awareness to include your physical heart in the left side of your chest. And in doing so, be open to activating more the sensory neurites in the heart. They're like neurons, similar to the brain. So they become, again, receivers and transmitters, receiving information, interpreting it, sending information. So your heart is much more than just a pump. Now I want you to imagine an infinity sign where the heart center is the 0 point of the infinity sign, where the points cross, the line crosses. And you can even take your finger and start to draw, or your hand and start to draw an infinity sign in front of your chest. So just that sideways figure 8. And you can imagine it, or you could draw it with your finger. And imagine as you're drawing that infinity sign, you're connecting the current. You're creating an electromagnetic current between your physical heart and your heart center in a way that just organizes the energy. It brings discordant energy into more of a coherent energy. We invite unbalanced energy to become balanced, disharmonized energy to become harmonized, organized in a way that would support, empower, uplift, improve the energy flow of the physical body. Remembering that the physical body is not physical. It appears solid, but it's energy. And the energy that makes up your physical form is a pattern of energy. It's a pattern of energy that has formed the expression of you. I have a pattern of energy that has formed the expression of me, through voice, through my physical appearance, through the energy within and around me. You know, when you're around certain people and you just feel like they've got good energy, that's your energy field communicating with their energy field. That's your energy picking up the signal of their energy. It's like two vibrational tuning forks being close to each other and feeling the effects of each other. We have our own unique energy field, a unique expression of our divine self, a unique expression of divinity, of source, of God. You use the word that resonates with you. Words are all limited, so find the word that lands the deepest and the closest for you. Feel the connection between your physical heart and the energy center of your heart. Although they appear to be two different spaces, they're all one, but we've separated ourselves out from our energy and our body, and separated our thoughts and our beliefs, and separated everything out. And we reduce ourselves, separate ourselves, and divide ourselves. And we could zoom in on a microscopic level and start to look at what's the smallest perception of a particle that we can find within the body. But we'll always be limited by what we can see with our physical eyes. And we can tap into the infinite possibility of what we can feel and sense if we go beyond our physical sight and connect more to our divine sight. feeling, sensing, knowing, experiencing. You are more than these thoughts. You are more than this belief. You are more than these emotions. You are more than this physical body. You are more than you can imagine at the level of the mind, which is where the heart center and heart consciousness comes in. It becomes a bridge to the knowing that you are so much more. You are not limited in the way you believe you're limited. And if you are limited, you are the prison. And you have the key. Take some deep breaths. And you may declare, you may feel inspired to declare, I open my mind to experience the truth of who I am. I'm willing to offer over everything I think I know and everything I think I don't know, all the limitations and perceptions of limitations. To unlock the prison of my mind and step out into the expansion and freedom of the heart. Be open to challenge your thoughts. You don't need to believe all your thoughts. In fact, most of your thoughts are not true. And if you break down a thought, it's just words strung together in a sentence. And if you break down the words, they're just lines and scribbles that make up letters. You can break it down to recognize the illusion of it. It's not true. Or it's just energy strung together in a way that's actually holding me back. So I can change the words around, I can move the letters around to actually empower myself instead of make myself afraid or feel limited. I can empower myself to feel free. So we stretch our minds, we open our minds, we unwind the mind, reprogram in some cases, but then delete the old programming in other cases because it's just not serving anymore. It never really was serving. It was only serving to keep you safe, small, protected, in fear, not taking risks. And even the idea of a risk, it's like your freedom is not a risk. Discovering the truth and experience the truth of who you are, remembering that truth is not a risk. It can't be measured. It is a freedom that is priceless. I no longer wish to be bound by the limitations of my mind. What if I am free now? What if it's as easy as stepping out of the mind and into the heart space? What if it's as easy as stirring those thoughts in and letting them be witnessed and honored from where they came from and why I put them there in the first place. I don't even need to know why. I just need to understand that they're no longer true for me. And I no longer need to hold them as what I thought was true. I can meet those thoughts with compassion and go, I no longer choose to believe that anymore. Thank you for protecting me for so long, but I don't need protection. I'm good. I've got this. And the emotion of fear coming up and that anxiety coming up, just meet it with love and compassion. Meet the aspects of you that are in lower vibration and lower frequency. Meet them with love. Meet the fear with love. Let love expand. When fear meets fear, fear expands. When love meets fear, love expands every single time, without exception. The fear may persist, but you can surround it with love. You can blanket it in love. You can blanket it in compassion. Having compassion for that younger version of you that's still afraid. Invite that beautiful younger version of you into your heart. Let your inner child know, we got this, we're good. We don't need to hide anymore. We don't need to hide, but we don't need to go running out into the middle of the arena on the battlefield and wave a flag saying, look at me, this is who I am. That's not the opposite of hiding. The opposite of hiding is standing in the truth of who you are, standing up inside of yourself and going, this is who I am. I can own that. I can embody that. And you may or may not be guided to stand on a global stage. You may or may not be guided to go out into public and declare anything. You may or may not be guided to write a book, to write a song, to play music. You may be guided to go stand in the middle of the mall and just hold the energy of love and compassion and giggle at what happens when you notice people feeling the energy. Some will avoid it like the plague. They'll run the other way. Some will be gravitated toward you. Some will look at you and smile and they don't even know why. Your heart knows what you're meant to do, when you're meant to do it. Trust it. You've been programmed not to. I'm inviting you to remember to trust it, to choose to trust it again, to practice trusting, to build that muscle back. It's just atrophied. Take a deep breath and exhale. You got this. We got this. Together, we've got this. Individually, we've got this. One moment at a time, one breath at a time, one guided step at a time. It's in the present moment, a deep awareness in the present moment that allows you to know what you need to do, when you need to do it, how you need to do it, when you need to be still, when you need to take action, when you're meant to stand up, when you're meant to rest and sit back and observe, when you're meant to speak, when you're meant to be in silence. All details are taken care of. When you're meant to do laundry, I'm guided to do laundry. I'm guided to when to do dishes. I'm guided to do all those things. Everything's taken care of. All of our needs are met. Our divine needs, all of our divine needs are met. So the next time you're in doubt or fear, fold that into your heart, stir it in, witness it, honor it, accept it. Invite it to show you if there's anything you need to know, let it be revealed to your heart to be understood. And then declare, I got this. I can do this. I'm already doing it. It's already done. And when your faith in yourself wavers, borrow my knowing, my faith in you, because it's unshakable, it's unwavering, it's unstoppable. Until you develop that muscle within yourself, that muscle memory. Lean into my knowing. Lean into the knowing of others in this community. You're not alone. The source within you and all around you is constant. And the moments you forget, forgive the forgetfulness and declare, I wish to remember. I got this. One step at a time, one breath at a time. Stay present. The present moment is key. It's where all the answers to every question you may ever have, and even the questions you didn't even know you had, in the present moment, all the answers reside there. Your healing resides in the present moment. What you need to heal, when you need to heal it, how you need to heal it, resides in the present moment. Hold steady. Remain present. Take some deep breaths. And you may feel guided to stay inner reflection with your eyes closed, or you may feel ready to open your eyes. The world always looks a little different when I go deeper. So let's take some time to answer some questions. So if you have a question, you can post it in the chat box. I'll just look back here. So Terry's just asking, it might make it difficult to live with people who are mainly in the 3D. How do we manage this with family? They're living in the fourth and fifth dimension. We're not even in, like, it's not like 3D and 5D. It's like everybody has access now. And they're accessing the fourth and fifth dimension, whether they realize it or not. So when you're navigating family, we can say maybe that's not as conscious or not aware. We're not living with such awareness or consciousness, higher consciousness. It's not a judgment. It's just that's where they are and it's okay. And some people aren't meant to wake up fully. Some people are meant to get to a point where they hit a wall and suddenly wake up. Some are actually meant to stay asleep until they transition. That's part of their soul script. So we really have to honor and not judge where people are at. So how do we manage family that are maybe not living in the same reality that we are in? I always ask my heart how to relate to them. Like I just really tune into the heart. And if I'm meant to have a conversation about the weather, then that's what I do. And if we're meant to have a conversation about the new couch, then that's what I do. If I'm meant to avoid certain topics, that's what I do. But I trust my intuition and I trust my heart to lead me in navigating those situations and those relationships. And sometimes I'm meant not to go to certain events and certain situations, certain groups. It's different than before. I used to go to all of these things, and now I'm really discerning because I know that if I show up when I'm not meant to, if it's not guided, it's actually not serving. So I'm here to be of service first and foremost. And that includes in my personal life as well as my professional life. So don't judge other people for being where they are and for even believing in the 3D. Don't try and convince them that there's more to life than what they're living. Just let them be. And if you're guided, clearly guided, not ego guided, ego, spiritual ego showing up and playing ego cop. The ego loves to do that. If you're not clear, then don't do anything. Don't say anything. If it's not clearly guided, then you're better to just bite your lip, hold that back. And if it's clearly guided, then do something, say something. But don't engage just to try and convince somebody that their reality is wrong or should be different or they should awaken to something that's bigger. Or if you see them in the prison, then that maybe that's purposeful for them. There was a time where I got really lost in the dark, like really lost in my life. I was trying to avoid my intuitive gifts because it was overwhelming and I was getting too much information from too many places and it was physically uncomfortable and painful and intense. And I did everything I could to numb myself out. There was nothing anybody could have said in that time to convince me to get out of that loop. I couldn't. I had to go into that deep, dark wormhole to climb my way out, to have that experience so that I could help others that are there that are reaching out for my support because I have a level of compassion and empathy because I was there. I get it. So it was purposeful. It was written in my soul script to go through a lot of those experiences. So we can't judge or even know, pretend to know what someone else needs. So that's the best that's what's coming in right now when I look at that question. And Jane, you're just asking, is the inner child part of the ego? Well, the ego uses anything and everything against us if it needs to. So if there's a part of your inner child that's still wounded, it's still in fear, then the ego will play on that and it'll use that as a point of entry to keep you feeling like you can't take action or you can't move forward or you can't do something because you're afraid. So it's not that the inner child is part of the ego. It's just the ego's using that aspect of yourself. Same with the left brain loop. The left brain and the left brain loop is part of human programming. We can change it, we can shift it, we can delete it, but the ego will use it. So removing the ego doesn't remove these things. It removes the interference that the ego causes for you to heal those things, to get beyond those pieces, to get out of those repetitive hamster wheel loops. The ego is causing interference and contaminating these experiences to drag them out or make them harder or heavier or feel impossible to heal. All right, let me keep going. Mm, sorry, I struggle with getting enough oxygen. Is it related to the heart and lungs or energy of the chaos that is happening right now? Janet, yes. I'm just going to tune into your lungs specifically. You're using like half of your lung capacity. So if you could, it's more about trying to exhale. It's like the expired gases, there's congestion. It's like releasing and exhaling longer breaths out and really even a forced breath out. So you can even like blow out all the breath and then blow it out more and keep going and try and blow out all of it. And then take a deep breath in and bring some more oxygen in That's one piece, and everybody can benefit from that because most people don't breathe deeply. The other thing, there's a lot of congestion in the air. So there's a part of us innately not wanting to take deep breaths of oxygen because there is a lot of contaminated energy in the air. So if you can imagine yourself in a beautiful bubble, and it's not just your energy field, but a bubble around your energy field, and filling that energy field or that bubble with oxygen and oxygen rich air, but also uncontaminated energy, then you might actually feel different. I just felt a shift with some of your energy fields just with sharing that concept. So you're like, oh, I can actually feel like I can breathe. So you end up feeling like you have this container of support with more clear air around you. That's something you can do. I have an oxygen bar I purchased not that long ago. I've had it for a couple months now, maybe a month or two. It's beside me. That's why I keep looking down. But I do it every day. I put it on, and it takes the air, the regular air, and oxygenates it and purifies it and oxygenates it. And that's something I'm using personally. And that is something that I found that I just needed to oxygenate my blood. I've had hyperbaric chamber, oxygen chamber treatments as well when I was down in Mexico at Sanoviv. And I found that really helpful too. It just really varies and depends on the individual needs, but following your intuition and trusting your intuition is important. So I will leave that with you to identify for you. I'm just going through and just seeing what jumps out. I'm not necessarily reading. I'm just kind of waiting to see what kind of jumps out. Mm. Kendra, when I sit at my computer to work, my eyesight blurs. Otherwise, I have no eyesight issues. There's two things that are going, there's a number of things that are going on with the eyes. I'm having different vision things. I've actually just discovered a couple drops that are actually eye drops that are actually helping me now, but there's physical stuff that's going on with the eyes. There's a lot of congestion being deposited in the vessels of the eyes for people. Seed oils, I'm finding, are really creating a lot of congestion in the blood vessels, especially behind the eyes. And other different foods are affecting it. It's like a whole, I probably could teach a course just on what's going on with the eyes right now, but that's one thing that's just coming in really quickly for me to share. The other part of our vision stuff is related to the frequency. So if I'm looking out into the world and I'm looking at something, I can see something that's a lower vibration and it's blurry. And I'll look to the right and there'll be something that'll be a higher vibration that's more in tune with me and it'll be clear, clearer or clear. That's part of what's happening is we're seeing different levels of blurriness or haziness in the vision because what we're looking at is a different frequency. Eventually, those lower vibrational objects, what appear to be objects, will disappear. We won't actually see them anymore. So you might be standing beside somebody and they'll be like, hey, look at that over there. And you're like, I don't see it. I don't know what you're talking about. That's where we're heading. We could actually have completely different experiences of what reality is presenting itself in front of our eyes because of the frequency. The other thing that I'll talk about, because I kind of keep feeling myself kind of going in and out vision, like near and far, looking at something nearer, like your computer screen, and then looking further away. There are muscles in the eye, different muscles in the eyes that are responsible for looking at something closer up, like your computer screen, and then a different muscle that's responsible for looking at things that are further away. And if you're always looking at something close up, like you're on the computer screen a lot or watching TV or always just seeing things really close up, the muscles that are responsible for longer vision, further vision, they shorten or they tighten or they get stuck. So they need to be exercised and released and that or opposite. But there's different things you can do for that too. So that's what's coming in and that's what I'll share about that. All right, let me go on. I have so much information. It's so wild. Over the years, I'm a really avid student, and I love to learn. And there's a lot of information, but I don't store it in here. I emptied my mind because it was just getting too cluttered and too busy and too full. So there was a period of time where I emptied my mind. So I'll be talking to somebody and they're like, "Oh, I have this or this, what's going on?" I'm like, "Oh, it's blah, 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 blah." And a bunch of stuff will come through. And I read it like, 30 years ago. And all of a sudden it'll all just be recalled. But it's not stored in my brain, in my mind. It's actually stored in the field of information, and that information comes through. Sometimes I have an idea of what I'm talking about, and then other times something's coming out of my mouth and I have no idea what it is. I'm like, I don't even know what this word means. And then I look it up afterwards because in my humanness, I'm like, I want to understand that a little bit. And so it's always fun. But okay, I will keep going. Uh, I feel like I'm doing all the right things, but I'm still exhausted. Exhaustion right now is part of the change in frequency. So don't judge that as a problem. Yesterday, I had worked with a bunch of clients and then I had to go do something. And then I came back and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for a walk. And I was just like, I can't go for a walk. It was just, my body was just like, I just knew I needed to lie down. So I just laid down flat and let my spine integrate everything that happened in the last 12 to 24 hours and give it the rest that it was calling for. So exhaustion right now, tiredness, fatigue can be two things. It can be your body calling for rest or your energy field saying, hey, it's time to rest here, or it could be ego interference, or it could be some kind of resistance to something you need to see or feel or move through. So exhaustion can be twofold, but again, if you actually go into stillness and meet the exhaustion without the story, without judgment, and just really ask, what is this exhaustion telling me? What message does it have for me right now? And you might just hear be still. You might hear lie down. You might hear go for a walk and kind of move through it because it's just resistance. Again, your heart knows, your guidance will lead you. And that's a lot of what I'm teaching in the intuition program, the Your Evolving Intuition experience. So if you haven't signed up for that, I would really highly recommend. I'm still building it out for February. It's still being built out based on people's questions and comments. New lessons are coming. And then, of course, it's always evolving. I don't know if I'll ever be done with that course building it out, but for now it's still under pre-launch special. So feel free to jump in. heartledliving.com. You'll find it under offerings. All right, let me see. I seem to be affected significantly by the solar flares. Yes, a lot of people are, and it's okay. I'm very affected by what's going on with the moon. I'm very affected by what's going on with the sun, but also the other planets and universally and cosmically. So I'm very aware and I feel a lot of what's happening, but I also hold my own energy field. So if you're really feeling like a lot of effect from everything that's going on the outside, pull your energy field in so that it's an arm's length in all directions, because that's going to allow you to be able to contain your energy field and keep the hygiene of it and keep it clear. If you have your energy field expanded way out beyond that 3 foot radius around you, then you're actually going to feel like the electric lines and the neighbors stuff that's going on and everything else around you. So if you're working with a client and you're doing intuitive work, and when I work with people, I expand all the way out as far as, beyond the universe, so beyond where you can comprehend. But when I'm done, my energy field comes back in. I don't stay out there. I don't keep it out there because my physical body needs the container right now, at least. The physical body still needs a container to allow the bioelectromagnetic conductivity to be organized in a way without having interference in it. So that's something that I would recommend, is keeping your energy field in when you feel overwhelmed. Okay. Keep going here. I keep having delays. Is it because I have to surrender, or is it the ego? Both. Well, probably both. We have to surrender everything at this point. there was a period of time where I'm like, I offer you my everything. And by you, I was at that time I was speaking to God or the divinity, but really it's me speaking to me. It's like I offer you my everything. I offer all my humanness. I offer you all of it. I offer my divinity, all of my humanness. Guide me, lead me, direct me. I surrender it all to you because I can't perceive the what's best for everyone. So when I follow my divine knowing, I know it's orchestrated based on what everybody, all of the collective, all of creation needs. So I'm serving from that space. Ego will definitely run interference and make us procrastinate and delay things and distract us and derail us. That's part of the ego's games. However, there is an element within us that does need to offer over and be
There
willing.
isn't much on there, is there?
Whoa, I don't
I
know
don't think
what happened.
there's much. Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry
Sorry.
about
I
it.
don't know why it got unmuted. Sorry about that. So there is an element of needing to surrender everything over. And that's why I keep saying offer over everything you think you know and everything you think you don't know so that your mind is wide, wide open. We need to be wide open to anything, attached to nothing, to really follow the guidance right now, to really follow what our heart is leading us to. And that will lead us to that divine orchestration that's serving all of creation everywhere all together all at once. Hmm. Oh, Daria, you started speaking and explaining about the eyesight and it immediately recovered for me. Beautiful. Love that. That's how it works. The moment you have an understanding and the moment you allow that energy in, that's how quickly we can heal. Now, if it didn't happen that way for you, don't judge. Oh, there's something wrong with me. No, no, no. If it was meant to be, if that's all you needed, that was the answer, then that's how quickly we can heal. So the mind is really quick to judge. So let's stay. All right. Beautiful. Let me do one more. Sarah, my brother's girlfriend is having their first baby next month. She has trauma issues and can be controlling and manipulative. I don't want to interfere and trust what is meant to be for the highest good will be, but I also hope the family dynamic will be healthy. That's a judgment. Sorry. Your hope that their family dynamic is healthy is a judgment. My family dynamic was my personal family dynamic is healthy, but growing up, my own family dynamic as a child was not healthy. But I chose it to be that way. As a soul, I knew what my mom and what my dad were going to go through, and to some degree, because I needed certain situation and certain experiences and my family dynamics delivered those experiences that I needed. So we have to let go of what we think is right or wrong or healthy or unhealthy in all aspects and just really follow the guidance. If you're meant to say something, say something. If you're not, then you don't. And sometimes that's hard to watch. And sometimes that's hard to see it play out before your eyes. And maybe you're not meant to look upon it in certain ways, but we'll no, that's basically what you can do in which it but judgment is disguised in many many different ways, so let go of judgment. All right, thank you all for being here. I appreciate you and I look forward to seeing you every week at the Living Oneness Gathering, and once a month we'll do this Q&A and a few intuitive readings and stuff. And if there's anything else that you need support with, if you feel like you're meant to do a session with me or an ego removal session, you can go to my website, heartledliving.com, and trust your intuition. Don't go looking at my stuff and buying stuff if it's not guided. It's probably opposite. Like most people don't say this, but if you're going to come to my website and you're going to buy something that's not guided, I don't recommend it. It's not serving you. So don't go looking for stuff and buying everything. Once you actually learn how to discern and trust your intuition, you're going to save a lot of money. You're going to save a lot of money and a lot of time because I spent thousands of dollars on training that in hindsight I was like, oh yeah, I wasn't meant to take that, and oh, that was ego. And so if you're going to invest in anything, invest in you discerning and trusting your intuition, because that's going to save you a lot of energy, a lot of turmoil, a lot of suffering. It's going to allow you to really be in this space of peace and live a life that is beyond what the mind can comprehend. And I want that for you. If that's what's guided, I want that for you. If it's not what's guided yet, if you need to suffer a little bit longer, I want that for you. Not that I want you to suffer, I just want you to learn the lessons the way you need to learn them in order to shift and experience life the way you're meant to experience it, because that's how you're going to serve at the highest level. That's what I want for you more than anything. Clarity of the heart. All right. I love you. I appreciate you. I see you. I honor you. Until next time, love and blessings.